afternoon or evening. And with nobody here to impress, I'm just going to get right into things. Can't see my legs, right? Okay. So, basically a just chatting stream. The negative side being that there's nobody waiting for me. Just like my personal life. Kind of means that I hope and I pray that the sound levels are fine, and we'll never know. Let's see. So we got the twin to the one that we had last time. Not last time, but the time before that. We got that old skeletal dragon. As you can see, I hurt myself at work. It's just a little boo-boo. Let's grab some paints. Oh, I found my wet pads. Wet pads are used with the wet palette to keep the paints moist while you're working on them. In theory, the wet palette is like watertight, so you could have like leave the paints in there overnight or something. But it's been so hot recently, and it's been more than a week, so let's just... Might have been too much water, but it's got to soak in. This particular... Oh yeah, that's way too much. Yeah, it's fine. Alright. Where's the bone color? Yep. So as I briefly attempted to discuss the other day during Clair Obscure, but obviously was a little bit distracted, because that game demands more attention from me than probably the average user, because I am the dumb. Brush drawings. Yeah, I went on a trip last week. It was fun. Went over to the land of Scott and hung out with my cousin for the whole week. Yeah, I forgot about that. Jeez. I never claimed to be the smartest. In fact, I'm relatively not. I can be good at stuff. I'm like a jack of all trades. I don't master anything, but I have a wide variety of interests. Such as painting. I have a mild amount of skill and an expert amount of patience. And really that's what you need for the best basics. But more advanced stuff, it just doesn't quite sink in. I don't know. I could probably do some tutorials, as YouTube is the sum total of all knowledge on the internet, if you look hard enough, and get better. If this is, in fact, a permanent feature of this channel, that's probably going to be a thing that I do eventually, is look up more painting techniques, get better at painting, because, yeah, sure, like the note that I'm getting through my painting backlog, which is an incredible amount of models. That's one thing. But doing them really well, higher than tabletop quality? Ooh. This stuff's scary. I've done some, like, two-brush blending in the past, but especially since it's been so hot recently, that stuff is tough. And airbrushing is hard on the camera because the particulates flying around could just get all up in the camera's lens and damage it, essentially. And then where would I be? What would I do? I paid an amount of money. Luckily, the single biggest thing that I ever spent money on was the model. Should I have the model up? I guess I paid for it. Is the model even... Oh, the model's not even on this, Fear me. It's probably on the wrong microphone, actually. Yeah. We'll just have a decent sized me. To be the input right now. Mop. I might have just shoved my head into the ring light. Anywho, where was I? Oh yeah, painting. Truly, patience is like 80% of this. Base coating's definitely a thing. Highlighting's definitely a thing. Anything beyond the basic stuff, that takes dedication that I have not mastered yet. And as my history will tell you, if it looks fine from 4 feet away across the gaming table, it's fine. I used to win, not the painting competitions for, like, actually good painted miniatures, though I would enter them. I would win competitions for quantity of models painted. I would go in there and just go nutso on a bunch of stuff. Because at the time, that was my excuse for buying the models. And that was for a particular game, that old War Machine. And since I was playing the heck out of it, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna buy some more game pieces that I can use and get them painted. Like, there was no downside. I remember one time I had all of my stuff. Basically, I was working on them up until the last day and submitted them right before the end time. And I apparently upset somebody because they had been logging and tracking everything as they had finished it, whereas I dumped all my stuff at the very end and managed to overtake them in points. They didn't see it coming. I had to come from behind victory. And like I said, they weren't happy with me. I don't even think there was a prize for that one. Like, definitely not cash. It was just a ranking system. Good times, though. Oh, know what I saw on, was it Kickstarter? I think it was Kickstarter. This cool, like, they had taken 3D models of cadavers, of people and animals, and you could get those as STL files for 3D printing. And so I thought to myself, man, I want those. Those would be pretty cool. Like an anatomical model in a lich's lair. Just a straight up, like, zombified, not zombified, but a mummified, not even mummified. A medical cadaver. Just chilling in the corner. Part of the ambiance. And then all the creatures had like a peel back section. So specifically there is a T-Rex with part of the skin peeled off of it. And that kind of sealed the deal for me. But different things with part of it, you know, down to the bone, part of it musculature, part of it with skin on. Just like those old things that they used to have in classrooms. Do they still have those things in classrooms? Probably not a thing they can afford anymore. Man. The amount of budget that's being slashed out of education, I'm glad I got out when I did. Sure, I'll still take classes at the local community college, but as far as basic education, I could not imagine going through it again. Like, you know how people will ask hypothetical questions, oh, if you could go back in time and redo part of your life, would I? Truly, would I? I think I could do a better job of it, but would I volunteer to go back? I could probably get medicated a lot earlier. That might be worth it. It might not be, though. But truly, like, other than the memories that I would get to keep with me, what have I really done and accomplished in life? Like, in theory, there's nothing that would stop me with foresight from doing many of the things that shaped my recent life. For example, I could, when I got let go of one job, I could go and apply for the other job. Whether or not it happens the same way and the same people speak up for me, doesn't matter. I'd probably get in anyway. Relationships, like, they didn't work out, and I don't think they really learned anything from me. Nothing that really improves their life to the umpteenth degree. Could get to try new stuff, meet new people. Oh, but I'd probably still be shy. If my memories go back with me, then I'm gonna get to keep my traumas and then add whole new ones. There's also, in those theoretical experiments, a lot of people don't think of the hormones, because those are absolutely a thing. You'd get acne again, you'd get mood swings, you'd get weird smells. And, not to put too fine a point on it, but with my adult brain as it is right now, teenagers not only scare me, they're not attractive. So my dating life would be non-existent. Not that it... I mean, I had a dating life in high school. Like, when the hormones were flowing and all the good ones were taken, some people just had no other options and were willing to find me attractive. I know that's a weird way of saying it, but I think that it's relatively easy to see that I probably divergent in some way as far as relationships and people. I don't know. Ever since some particularly bad breakups, I haven't really believed in anything such as soulmates or lifelong bonds. From my extensive history, forever probably seems to last about 7 years. If you're together forever, 7 years. Gonna be doing this forever, probably 7 years. I'm sure some things break that mold, but it seems to be a great filter for me. I once again invited somebody to hang out in the stream. I didn't know if I wanted to say this or not, in case they do or don't show up. But I did invite somebody to come hang out again. They sounded interested. And for self-evident reasons, they would need to hang out on the European time stream. I also found on Arena something that I've been doing recently. I found out that the Commander face cards, not every card out of the Commander decks from Tarkir, but a lot of them, are on Arena as Brawl Commanders. You can just play them. And Taval the Balanced Scale is one of the decks that I have in real life that is one of my most powerful. And it doesn't have every card in it, but it has a good number of cards. Like Tortured Existence, not on there. Phyrexian Reclamation, on there. So there is a deck on there. I have, on my other account, I've been playing it, and it has been quite fun. The problem, of course, would be doing it on a free-to-play account. Vis-a-vis, I'd be jumping into Hellq with a Sultai Commander with not the best cards. And unless I somehow figure out a way to get a bunch of mythics off the rip, I mean, there's probably a budget version. Just find all the good common and uncommon cards that would work with it. A couple of the necessary bombs. I think that, like, Rhystic Study would be a safe investment. Some Moxen. Is it Mana Geyser? No. Mana Power Drain? Mana Drain? The counterspell that gives you mana back. Probably a pretty safe bet. There are a remarkable... I was looking through other deck lists just to see what cards are available in Brawl that Taval players run. There's a decent number of common and uncommon Mill Matter cards on Arena. I was surprised. If I look at enough deck lists, they'll have enough random pet-ish cards about it. I should be able to build something. Just use like one mythic wild card for the commander. See what I got. Not a lot. I only share one color with it in any series capacity. But like the colorless package could probably go in there. New Ugin, because the old Ugin's banned. Sire 7 Deaths, all that stuff. But that might have been the other Tevel. They probably work well enough together. Self-mill, it do be a very parasitic mechanic. I think there's too much liquid in here, or I'm just trying to go at it too quickly. Let's just go too quickly for the rest of it. Fix it in post. Yeah, for whatever reason, this one did not get the solid attachments that the other one did. Because one of the wings is a little wobbly, the tail's a little bit wobbly. If they straight up break off, it would be better, because to fix it, I would need to break it off and put the glue in there. But if it's not broken off, there's, like, I hesitate to do it, because that goes a little bit past, that's not preventative maintenance, you know? Or I guess it would be preventative maintenance, but it's not the actual... I don't want to do it yet. If it doesn't need it, it doesn't need it, but it might need it. So you like jazz? I really like the jazz ensemble. It is very subtle and calming. Provides a perfect background. If we finish this one up early today, I might just jet, because I've got a phone call that I need to attend in the morning. I say morning as if it's not afternoon, but my sleep schedule. Is right where it should be. Gamers, haha. It's like 1.5, 2 hours. So many bones and so many angles. Look at how many ways that I have to twist this motherfucker. I was watching a live stream earlier today and was chatting it up in the chat, and I was making people laugh, which is great. Maybe okay, so what kind of games are not thinking games but would provide something to comment on? What type of games are those? I guess Pokemon games would be pretty good for it. I've got physical Pokemon games. I wouldn't even be pirating. I could do OG runs. I don't want to be necessarily known as a retro gamer, but I have considered playing some of the games from my past. Possibly hooking up the old N64. One of the games that I do remember playing that was really fun was Banjo-Tooie. Banjo-Kazooie I never beat, but Banjo-Tooie was great fun. I remember Banjo-Kazooie had a life system and you could get game overs, whereas Banjo-Tooie did not. And I think that that was on the cusp of where people were learning really what 3D platformer game design was and what was acceptable, what were the kind of traits that it wanted, the difficulty of puzzles. Then again, I might have just been a child. That is definitely something that needs to be considered. I might have just had small fingers and thumbs and brain. I was going to message this lady that I knew when I got back from my trip, and I opened up my contacts, got as far as finding her, and realized that I had given her a nickname that was not flattering and kind of reminded me, yes, this is not a person that I should trust my mind, body, and soul with, because they are not a good communicator. I mean, the way that I grew up kind of internet adjacent in all things, so because I wasn't very popular in real life and didn't get out much, I really learned how to type. Not fast, but my brain functions in a way, I would say with a slight delay on it, where if I'm allowed a couple seconds to think about something and possibly research it, spell check it, find out if my facts are right or wrong, that's where I'm aces. Where was I going with this? That's another thing. I could look back at my chat log and find my train of thought. My thought of train. Oh yeah. So I have a certain expectation of talking to somebody in text, and people can be shit texters, but like, hypothetically, if you're talking to somebody and, you're having a decent time just chatting, like you've both been on for a while, and you gotta go, do you just set the phone down without saying anything in kind of the middle of the conversation? Do you wrap up the conversation and then ghost it? Or do you say that you gotta go? Because I am firmly in the camp of letting somebody know when you're, been talking to them for a while that you gotta go. Just even a quick, I gotta go. Like, I don't even need to know why. Just let me know you're done talking for right now so that I can go on with my day. That's a big one. This fine lady would not want to text at all, which is really difficult because I don't want to call. And how do you plan on meeting up with somebody if you can't communicate with them? Or the last time that I talked to her, I was like, hey, I'm in the area. I know where you live. Hey, do you want to hang out for a little bit? Like, I have got nowhere to be. And they're like, sure. Or they, I said, hey, do you want to hang out? And they're like, sure. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, do you have a day? Or is tonight cool? It was something like that. I don't remember exactly what. But it was like, hey, do you want to hang out? And she was like, yeah, I want to hang out. was like, cool win. That's the end of that conversation. Like, it's frustrating. Oop, too wet. And she didn't like to text, which is a darn good way to communicate with somebody, in my opinion, but I guess not for her. Who doesn't like to text? What kind of old soul nonsense is this? Absolutely barbaric. Oh, hello there. You decided not to change your screen name or anything? Just sticking with who you are? I mean, it's fine to be who you are. I hide behind screen names most of the time. But maybe that's just from where I grew up. My parents were relatively helicopter, didn't want me to go and you know, get abducted on the street or talk to strangers, be outside the house, do anything. So I got into video games. I literally reminded you. You goober. There's nothing more I can do. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make her drink. Man, it is warm in my room right now. I got the fan on, but it's pointed at my back. The back of my chair, that is, so it's not really doing a heck of a lot. I don't want to turn on the AC. But it is... I don't know. What is that? I think I just got a piece of paint on a hair that was hanging down in front of my face. That's a new one. So let's see. Yeah, didn't end up messaging her because of the nickname that I had given her in my phone. Basically reminded me, no, don't talk to this person. It does not end well. So I did not. Because sometimes I do learn. Just takes a while. There's a little bit of convergent evolution going on in the Patreons that I back. Because one of the ones that I backed recently, and I was only going to do it for 1 month, but I forgot to cancel it. And so this month they came out with another one, and the centerpiece model, in a tone and stylistic sense, matches another set that I thought was really cool a while ago, and it already printed out. So there's like a creepy forest critters kind of vibe with these big guys that are kind of dressed up / made of plant growth, kind of fleshy undead monster things, and it nails the look that those other ones are going for. And I haven't painted any of those. Maybe I'll do one of those upcoming once this guy's done, if I can't find anything else. Those ones definitely need to be primed, though. But it's kind of interesting when, other than dragons or something that is based off of another intellectual property, it's weird when things just randomly decide to look very similar, as if they're designed to be in the same setting, encounter, diorama, whatever you'd want to do with it. It even also has it has a peeled back skull of like a wolf or some kind of canine creature as a face, which matches the skeletal look of the other monsters that I was talking about. I remember finding them for the first time and just falling in love, and I'm going to design an encounter around that. And that's when I found that you could, for an additional $2 or $3, increase your Patreon donation to the next tier up. And if you do so, you get the adventure that those monsters are designed for. Ooh. So I wouldn't even need to make up rules. And so I did. And so I have the adventure / set of encounters that those things are for. I think that I just need to start making a series of one-shots and inviting my faraway friends into an online game. Because most people can figure out a one-shot or like a 2-week one-shot. But I think what I want to do is get them together, maybe like the usual crew, plus one maybe, don't know who, but, and then get them together for 2 weeks and just set aside, hey, on blah day, I'm going to be running this thing. It's going to be 2 sessions. It's going to be great. Convince them to show up. And then, once they've got their characters made, run a couple encounters just long enough to fall in love with these people, I will announce, hey, I'm going to keep going with this campaign. If you want to keep your character or start a new one, we're going to continue with this, and we're going to turn it into a longer campaign. And that's going to tug on their emotional heartstrings, and I will emotionally blackmail them into playing a campaign with me. That's how friendships work, right? I'm pretty sure that's how friendships work. That's how all my friendships work, anyway. Based entirely off of my needs and emotional blackmail. That's why I only reach out to people when I feel lonely. That I'm just a professional gaslight gatekeep girl boss of my own life, and able to just spend as much time as I need and never leave the house. It used to be a kind of rare thing in my last job, but with this one, because of the hours, very easy to just stay inside the entire day and never leave. That reminds me, I found I had printed out a bunch of Baby Yodas for my parents at one point because they wanted one, and because of the way I was unconfident at the time that one would just come out, and I didn't want to have to reprint it, so I printed out I think 6 or 8 of them on one build plate. And because of the way that my printer works, the way that the LCD screen works, the having more dudes horizontally does not increase the print time. Only going up increases print time. And so I printed out a bunch of them and I found them in a drawer. And, I think one, maybe two of them had failed just because the supports weren't good and maybe the bed was off level or something. But I found them in a drawer. And so now I've got all these little, like, 2-inch Baby Yoda figurines that I could paint up and do something with. Oh, it was another thing that I did for, as a little project. I made lithopanes, which is a mostly flat print, but there's thick parts and there's thin parts, and when you hold it up to a light, the thin parts get light through them and look like light up, and then the thick parts have less light going through them, so they appear darker. And you can print out an image like that, and you can hold it up to a light, like a nightlight kind of thing, and see the image as a 3D backlit image. And the way that the light works on gray is that it looks like, because of the peaks and valleys, it looks like the like a little mountain range, but when you shine it up to the light, it looks like a really cool picture. And I don't even know if the site that I was using to make them still exists, but I'm sure that it's possible to find something that'll turn an image into a lithopane. Because I did a couple magic cards, I did a couple images for people, I did the one for my parents, which was the Haunted Mansion foyer room with all the portraits. It had the portraits as they were rolled up. And I made a couple of those for my parents to give out to somebody. Don't even remember why. Hide them around the house. See how long it takes for people to find them. So we'll see. The problem is there's not a lot of people in this house to find things. People aren't really looking around in this place. Easter, this is not. I could hide them around other people's houses. Just randomly. Oh, hey. Just find like a table or behind a book or something. Leave a little Baby Yoda. Write my name on the underside of it so that if they pick it up, flip it over trying to find out where it's from, then I'll get a random text message. Did you? Yeah. And I could time people. Figure out how long it takes them to find a random thing. I could hide this Baby Yoda in your deodorant, come back in 2 weeks, and it'd still be there. Ooh, sick burn. Sorry, I'm concentrating on what pieces I've missed. I need to check and see how much the price of a I don't know if it's an adapter. I forget what the term is, but the recording device for I had someone in mind. Yeah. Not specifically, actually. I just remember reading that burn recently. But I need to look up the price for a recording device for capturing a game capture device. I guess that's just what it's called. I need to look into the price of game capture devices so I can hook it up to the TV and record if I want to do retro console stuff with all the consoles that just hang out in my closet. Like, I think that there's actually one for a Game Boy. I'm sure that there is. There's no way there's not. But it's probably better to just get a generic TV one and hook up the N64 or the Wii or something. Pretty sure I had a Wii, not a GameCube. But man, if I run out of games or don't want to play any of the ones that I have, it's going to cost an arm and a leg to get working vintage Nintendo 64 games. At least there is a used game store that I'm aware of that's relatively close to me. It's probably like a 20-minute drive. But they've been there for a while. I don't think they would have closed. They're the only one in the area, so probably still there. I'm going to bank on them still being there. But I need to find if there were any games that I really wanted to play or that are, like, can't pass this up titles. I also need to check and see which ones I got. I know I've got, like, Banjo-Kazooie, Pokemon Coliseum, Majora's Mask, because I never played Ocarina of Time. I think RetroThink can do it, but they're spinning. Yeah. Like, even if the store doesn't exist anymore, the internet does, so I'll be able to find something on eBay. Oh, as a game capture device. Gotcha. Smash. I did try plugging in Super Smash Brothers on the N64. That's the last game that I tried to play. And having played modern gaming, the inputs were delayed so much. Like, you would press something and the entire thing just felt sluggish, like your character had weights on or something. Like, it just felt bad. I do remember that, so I don't know if that's going to be a thing, but I could give it a shot. Put it in the folder for one-shots. And I bought Smash Ultimate on the Switch. I just never really recaptured the magic for me. Part of the thing with the original Smash, there was the magic of it being the first, like, collaborative thing between several different franchises that I like. So Legend of Zelda, Pokemon, Mario. It had all of the characters, and so that was like the coolest thing ever, and I was willing to play it no matter what. And just like, for the first several months after buying it, I would wake up early before school and grind out a couple matches, like half an hour early, grind out some matches just to play, and then get home from school, do my homework, give or take, and then play some more. And so, like, that's the thing about being obsessed with one game and only having a very limited selection of games. You get good at it, but in retrospect, I don't know if that was actually a game that I would have enjoyed otherwise. Because side-scrolling fighting games, really not my cup of tea. Never really enjoyed that, and I've heard people talk about them, and I know what it's supposed to be like. It's like a after a certain skill level, it turns essentially into a strategy game because you're trying to make lightning fast decisions on play style and blocking versus attacking and stringing together combos while your opponent's trying to interrupt you and do the same. And it's like playing a game of Magic, but in real time and with like hyper intense. And I never got past button mashing, honestly. I mean, Super Smash doesn't have combos or anything, but that kind of thing. Was never really good at it. I played so much that I got good at it. But a lot of it was probably just cheesing the same move, the one that the NPCs couldn't react to. Because, of course, I didn't have any friends that wanted to play. And this was before I really made friends that I wanted to hang out with all that often. And so I just played against the NPCs. I also remember getting good at Mario Kart 64 for the same reason. It was the only game that I had. But racing games, also not really my favorite. I tried a couple other ones later on. Didn't really get into it. I'm not a car person, so any of like Gran Turismo games don't really do it for me. PK Fire times 100. Yeah, Pikachu just using Thunderbolt the entire time, just smashing down B until the enemy falls off the stage. Actually, a lot of down Bs ended up being really spammable. I remember Donkey Kong, you'd also down B. When Super Smash Melee came out, I wanted to get good at Bowser, and as it turns out, Bowser is dog shit tier. And that kind of really ruined my mood for it. Racing games with realistic gravity are way too hard. They truly are. Like, Mario Kart games have the opposite of realistic gravity, so they kind of fit into a different mold, but it's still racing around a track. And you probably aren't doing a lot of sick jumps on those ones. Therefore, you're only moving the X and Y directions, and so, like, they gotta make it difficult. Remember, there's a lot of, like, buying different cars and earning them in the Gran Turismo game that I tried. It just wasn't clicking. Like, I didn't know what all the stats didn't care about specific car brands. That was just not the game for me. Okay. I think that last time I had a base of blue on the wings. That really light blue. And apparently the fleshy wings were fine. People have said that they like them, so I guess I'm just going to repeat the mistake but call it a feature this time. This one, because of the way that, because I know that I'm going to be using the ink? Is it an ink or a wash? Because I'm going to be using that, I got to get every little bit of texture here. For the bones, it doesn't really matter if I get in between them because I would just need to fill that up anyway to make the shadowing effect. But for these wings, because I'm going to be covering them entirely with that wash, and then it's going to pool into the middle areas, I really got to hit every surface of it. I can't just do wide brush strokes. I mean, I could just start out with, but I'm going to need to fill them in. It's not going to look good if I don't. So, it's just more time. Got plenty of time. I just have a phone call in the morning. Taking an hour to do just the base coat of bone. I mean, that's the majority of the base coating, so that's not awful for time for a model of this size. I wonder if I can do these bone colors with the airbrush. I'm not sure if it would work or not. Oh, I just realized I'm a lazy pot painter. Let's just do... This is fine. A little water in this bad boy. And there we go. Little drippy drips of the blue. Two drops to start. We'll come back to it. Much more smoother, probably. I was considering getting a airbrush station for this room, but they are a little expensive, and the one that I already have was homemade and looks extremely jank. And since I would be streaming it, I have to question whether the aesthetics are worth it or not. And right now they're not. But is it worth it to actually stream terrible airbrushing, especially since airbrushing is very loud? And so I don't know if I'd be able to talk over it. Airbrushing might just be a thing where the optimal way to do it is to record the Handcam section and then dub over it in post and post it as an upload. Which is several things that I don't know how to do, but, you know, I'm learning, whatever. I'm gonna need to learn how to do some of that anyway. Makes it complicated? Yeah. The video that I was watching for how to start becoming a YouTuber in the year of our Lord 2025 was saying you can't just do live streams. Like so I got the first step. The most important step is to just press go and start doing it. So I did that. That's fine. But then you got to do, like, you got to play the shorts game and the uploads and clips. You got to get new eyes on you via clips because that's how people join, that's how people find you. The algorithm doesn't dump anyone anywhere near little tiny streamers. I was lucky to get one person on my very first. At least one talker. There might have been other lurkers, but who knows? The point is, you're supposed to do, like, have clips of yourself, and I don't know how to clip yet. That's another thing to learn. It's all about learning. I'm definitely not making a clip channel, at least for now, because that's... Unless I was doing practice stuff and clipping somebody else, looking for clippable moments. I'm going to call it that I'm a comfy streamer, which is why I don't have explosive, bombastic moments where I, you know, like, lose my shit over something. It's not really me anymore. Probably would have gotten way too excited about this stuff if I had started 10 years ago, but... 10 years ago, I didn't even know what a VTuber is. I definitely wouldn't have wanted to live stream with my face out. I hadn't even found my brain parasite Isopod at that point. Cozy gamer. Well, if you watched the, ooh. What the heck? Why are you purple? What happened there? Did I awaken something in the pad? Did I just have some... That is the oddest bit of purple I've ever seen appear on a model before. I was not expecting that. Face reveals are, for me, you can have a face reveal if I do a meet and greet. But I'm gonna need to get like 1 million+ subs to even consider it, and even then, I don't have the kind of face, body, anything to be an actual flesh tuber. Painting Jesus. Well, I do have the hair for it. Behind the camera. Ignore the model for a hot second. If I do ever get a 3D or a 2D actual moving model with toggles, I'll probably get a couple of hairstyles, a short one and a long one. Ooh, I missed a spot. Yeah, I don't remember if I finished my thought. During my playthrough of mouthwashing, there were a couple jump scares, and they did not get me very often. And some of the content got a little graphic. Didn't faze me at all. There was a moment where, let's say self-harm was shown, and I wasn't sure because I don't know the rules against that. Obviously, I'm not going to lose monetization. It's not like I make money off of this yet, but I wasn't sure if I was allowed to or if I would get in trouble somehow. Like, what are they going to do? Tell me to stop? Like, okay. I didn't get any warnings about it, But there was that. There was the like there were a couple moments in that game that seemed not very monetizable. Let's put it that way. I didn't know that because I tried to stay spoiler-free for that game. I knew that it was going to be some kind of psychological horror. That's the extent of that. Pretty graphic, in my honest opinion. Not a lot of games straight up go into that level of gore. I liked it. It was a decent story. If I recall correctly, I was able to crack it out in one sitting and spend 3 hours on it. Something like that. I would not have wanted to come back to it. Good lord. Actually, playing that game has made me curious on other people playing that game. I want to see what other people's reactions are to it. Other people who I've watched before. I don't think the game's doing jazz anymore. We've switched to a different genre. Some kind of synthy, chill, relaxed music. Definitely a little bit weird. I was expecting smooth jazz. I like jazz. I saw that somebody had reportedly watched the Bee movie something like 380 times in a year, which was an outstanding statistic. And I guess the story behind that one was there was a child, and the only thing that would make them calm, the only thing they ever wanted to watch was the Bee movie. And they would like fall asleep watching it. Okay, dude. That's that is either a very spoiled child or a very autistic child. I mean, whatever works, but it seems like the kind of thing that I would get yelled at for doing. Since you hadn't said anything, I'm assuming that the voice is an okay sound and it's not doubling up or anything. I was having an issue with sounds doubling up occasionally, and I didn't think that it was happening today, but I also couldn't exactly check. Can I just say something about the Helldivers sound system? So Helldivers itself is entirely a spaghetti mess of coding that doesn't work properly. But for whatever reason, I don't know what input it's drawing from for mic, But since I've been messing with my sound settings, all kinds, and actually have a program for it and all that, it hasn't been working for in-game audio. I've had to type anything. Hasn't really come up in actual gameplay because I normally don't talk, and if I'm going to be playing with somebody, we just do Discord. But it's just kind of annoying that it doesn't want to work on my headset. So my Bluetooth headset, these sounds messed up, so I have to use the plugged one, which means that I have to have two headsets available at all times if I ever want to pick up Helldivers. I can't just like normally be using the Bluetooth headset and then switch over to the other one. So I had to figure out those sound settings as well. And then there's also the sound board. For whatever reason, sometimes when I log into this account and back to another account on the computer, because I have two separate accounts to keep stuff private, if one's on and then I switch to the other one, sometimes it'll, first off, it won't open the sound program, but it will open it twice at the same time. So I can't do anything about it. The program doesn't want to be accessible, but it opened twice for some reason, and so all audio gets doubled. And it's not louder or anything, but the two broadcasts are microseconds off, so it is a little echoey. And at this point, I don't know what I'm supposed to do to try it. I wouldn't even know how to mess with it to try and fix that. It is just a thing that I get to deal with, and it has probably contributed significantly to all the audio issues I've had with this channel so far. There's still one VOD that just doesn't exist anymore because after the first 30 minutes, I changed the sound setting and had no sound from my microphone for the rest of the gameplay. Absolutely dog shit. But it's what we have to deal with if we want to not just be relying on Windows, and I've got some form of filter on my voice right now. I think that in theory, I would have, yeah, the noise focus and suppression on, so you shouldn't be hearing any, like fan noises or me shifting around, or, I think that it wouldn't pick up my typing if I typed on the keyboard, stuff like that, those small movements. Those are, in theory, hidden. I don't know how big a sound has to be. The only problem with that is, yeah, it blocks all this unnecessary sound, but if my cat comes up and starts meowing, then you won't be able to hear it. And that's just a tragedy. Oh yeah, I saw somebody talking about that, about it getting about him having a voice filter, and I want to play around with one. If I can activate it as a toggle, I think that would be pretty neat. Can't hear any of the background noise. That's good. Working as intended. Speaking of cats, I've got a ton of cat hair all over here because this is one of the places where they will walk through on their way to the window. I personally am covered in cat hair right now because right before stream started, one of the cats decided it was pets time, and she was cuddling on my chest, and it broke my heart to 2 minutes before stream starting, having to disturb her and make her go away so that I could look over here. It's on regular gameplay, I can kind of get away with her on my lap and just wait for her to naturally get pissed off and leave. But it does not work on Handcam. Got some on my hand somehow. Disaster. But she did, little shit, when I got up to get breakfast this morning, she sprinted into my room to lay down on my bed. And so I didn't want to disturb her, but I also didn't want to leave the door open or lock her in there or leave her alone in there because she pisses on my stuff. I ended up not eating for a little bit and just went back in there and shoved my face into her side. Because if you're going to make me stay in here and be hungry, then I'm going to sniff the floof. She's so goddamn soft. Even the vet commented once that she wanted to know what I've been feeding her, that her coat was extremely soft. The other one, the black one, not quite as soft, still soft, but a little bit coarser hair. There's a difference. The first one's more like a mink coat. Fun fact, the brushes that I'm using now are tipped with sable. Sable is a small mouse that also happens to have some of the best fur for making paintbrushes out of. So they are bred and raised and fed good food and live really good lives so that their fur is as good as it could possibly be, and then they are shaved and used to make paintbrushes. So it's a very ethical practice that gives really good results, but I don't know specifically what it is, but they just decided that's going to be the mouse of the brushes. I'm not sure if I've ever looked at what a picture of a sable looks like. Probably wouldn't recognize one if I saw one. Unless I could read a plaque with his name on it. Speaking of plaques, I've decided that I want to go to either the museum or the aquarium at some point soon. Because I know that the aquarium has an Isopod exhibit, and so I could visit my people. Alright, this is too moist. I think that, okay, we gotta touch up a couple places with the bone color. Okay, this is even a third different genre of elevator music. I had put the smallest amount of effort into figuring out how I want to do a karaoke stream, and I realized the way that I've always done karaoke to this point is just having a playlist of the song playing. And in theory, in a karaoke, you would sounds like Sims build music. Yeah, that's it. But in karaoke, it either doesn't have the voice on it and you just sing instead, or it has multiple outputs out of the program. So that in your headset, you can hear the voice and you can sing along to it. But then in the output, it would do the song without the lyrics and people would just hear you with the music. Now, I know for a fact that not every song that I would want to sing would even be remotely something that's normally karaoke music. And so I got to figure out, do I just try and find the unvoiced karaoke and have every song available and just play it off of YouTube and get good at singing without the voiceover? Which I'm sure some of the songs I'd be fine at. Some of them I would need to review a bunch. Or do I just limit to what is available on Carafun or some other karaoke program? Did I even do the bass for the previous one? Let's see. Yes, he got brown. Where'd I brown out? You just saturate this with more water. There. There's also one person that before I do karaoke, I would want to get back in contact with from over a year ago and let them know, because I know that they like karaoke and they were the one that kind of convinced me to start considering that. But I haven't spoken to them in over a year, so that's its own bag of worms. So in my experience, like, it's weird for me to reach out to people who I haven't talked to in a while, because I assume that everybody who doesn't want to talk to me, like, they've broken me out of their life, or like essentially don't want to actually talk to me, which is why I normally really enjoy it when people reach out to me first, because I know, oh, this person wants to talk to me. People understand dropping off sometimes. Yes, but the last thing that we talked about was a little awkward. And I know that it just wasn't a good time for her. And so, in theory, she wouldn't mind hearing from me again, but I don't know. And until I find out, then it's an unknown. And as long as it's an unknown, I haven't failed. And I have a fear of both failure and rejection. I have a sort of weird immunity to it as far as the channel is concerned, because it's an abstract construct for me so far. It hasn't established itself. I don't have any expectations. I'm gonna hit like my 3-year anniversary with like 3 subscribers, and it's gonna be great, and I'm gonna learn so much. But then there's like personal interactions where I talk to people and they're like, it's actually, you know, means something, and interpersonal connections and relationships and all that. That's different. And I've had some bad traumas about it. And part of my trauma responses is that I just don't want to trigger them. Even if I know that it's probably not as bad as I'm thinking it is, in my brain, it will be as bad as I think it is. Like, I couldn't message my ex out of nowhere and just be like, hey, yo, like, what's up? And to a certain extent, that flavors everything else of, like, all interactions with people. Like, I assume that if somebody doesn't want to talk to me, they've cut me out of their life and would prefer it if I never spoke to them again. That's just kind of how I view people not talking to me. Like, sometimes I won't get the message yet. Like, things will end amicably, or just like, we didn't have a final conversation about not talking to each other. Nothing really bad happened. Those kind of people, I will remember and think about and be like, oh yeah, I should message this person. Like, old work friend from my previous job, I wouldn't feel bad about sending him a meme if I got reminded of it. We haven't talked very much lately, but like, we used to be best friends at work. I wouldn't mind that. But recently, I decided, because of the Kickstarter that I backed for the paints, because I was getting back into painting, let's back a Kickstarter about paints, get the entire line. It's gonna be great. The person who I know would potentially know about this kind of stuff, haven't spoken to in years, kind of had a little bit of an awkward last conversation. I decided to reach out and text their old number, be like, hey, is this so-and-so? So-and-so's number. And then I sent a follow-up message. I saw this Kickstarter for these paints, and I know that we had a kind of last awkward conversation, but I don't even remember what we were fighting about. And the response to that was, I didn't get a response. I tried to reach out, nothing happened. So that person, in my brain, they don't want to talk to me anymore. It's possible they got a new phone number. They might have died. They might have done any number of things. But worst case scenario, they blocked me after the first message, or even before that. I didn't get a message bounce anything. It might have just hit a brick wall. They might have blocked me years ago. They might have blocked me after the first message before I even got the second one. But either way, until that happened, there was always this kind of knowledge in the back of my mind. Hey, you know, this guy used to be one of my best friends. We would hang out at the shop all the time. Used to play games together. He was a lot of fun. We went to some conventions together. Really cool guy. Introduced me to some people at the convention. And in the back of my mind, like, we could still at some point pick up and re-become friends. Because, like, I don't remember why we stopped talking. I remember other things that were happening in my life at that time. There was some major upheaval happening, so I kind of have a little bit of a an issue recalling specifics, if that makes sense. But, you know, I kind of miss the guy. The big lug. Actually, my new manager reminds me about him a lot in certain ways. But yeah, my brain tells me he did, you know, dropped contact with me years ago and never wants to hear from me again. End of story. And that sucks, and it hurts my feelings. And I kind of wish that I'd picked somebody else now to do that with, so that I didn't have this kind of looming resurgence of that bad trauma. Like, oh, I failed recently, I don't want to fail again, so I'm not going to do that thing. I am not a hard person to handle and deal with, but, like, people can mishandle me really easily. That's why one of my pastimes is finding subtle ways to inform people how to handle me. Like what to say, what kind of things I enjoy, how to approach conflict. I've definitely had a couple of conversations at the start of getting to know somebody and being like, oh, I want to know this person a lot more, and just tell them like, hey, like my, you know, the way to get my attention is not to have an argument with me, but to like, you know, have a conversation. And it's like, just come at it softly. I can get defensive very quickly because of the way that people have mishandled me in the past. I'm also a very logical person. If you don't stick me in an emotional state, I'm willing to listen to just about anything and consider it. Okay, this one, since I'm going to be dry brushing it along the base a little bit, I don't want to... Is this even the right one? No, it's definitely not. But I don't want this one to be wet, so I can't use the wet palette for it. This, I think. This might even... Might be the wrong one, but we're just going to go with it. Old paint. Dry paint rings. Pop out the old dry brusher. Yeah, I think this is the right color. Why are people so dumb? Why is talking to people, interacting with people, and trying to keep up relationships with people, why is it all so dumb and difficult? Meeting new people is a challenge. Getting out of my comfort zone is difficult. Remembering to do stuff is hard. If I decide I want to do something one day, that thought has to survive until I can manifest it, and that's difficult. Might be a little bit too much, but it's fine. It's not awful. I've seen worse. I've seen better. But I've seen worse. Let me take these. Right, red. Was it this one or... Oh no. Which one was it? Definitely wasn't this one, but I remember that this one exists. And now I'm kind of considering going back, redoing, filling in all of the blank spots. I didn't realize that I had a bone wash. It must have been this one. This is the only red that makes sense. Boop. Let's get a new brush that is untouched by... Let's get a little bit of water in it. Get a little bit of ink in it. And slosh it on. Oop, cat hair. Now this stuff is annoying to touch up after the fact once it's dried. Oh, and everybody was happy to see me when I went back to work the other day. Specifically, they had been hung out to dry because of everybody needing time off, but they were glad that I was back and doing my job. They seemed surprised that they got done with everything on time. It's like, yeah, dude, like, I am back. I do work. Like, I can tell why you're pessimistic about everything. You've been 1 or 2 men down for a week, and that sucks. But that's just how it goes. Oh, and apparently one of the streamers that I watch, I hadn't really followed what happened on my week off, but they had taken a couple weeks off beforehand to try and get stuff sorted out for a big streaming event. That thing happened while I was gone, and then I guess immediately afterwards they had a medical issue and can't stream right now. So it's like, missed them by that much. Not my fault. I wanted to take time off in September, but everyone else was an asshole. And by that I mean they did their own thing and I got bumped because I didn't have enough seniority. Nothing was maliciously done, but we don't have enough people to cover more than one person being out in a week, and so I got shafted. The only good thing that came out of that was a solo trip to Europe instead of a family trip to Europe. Solo trip, quote unquote. Okay. One wing section done. Every once in a while I'll pay attention to the music. Ah, cool, we're back to slow jazz. Speaking of slow jazz, There's nothing stopping me from scheduling remembering to learn how to play the saxophone stream and practicing it. Honestly, the time would be now when I don't have a lot of viewers. Just stream to an audience of no one, but still be gaining, video hours. Regain a lost talent. A talent that is actually useful, as it turns out, becoming a adept music person. And if I get passable at enough instruments, I could do my own music. Last Christmas, I seriously considered buying a guitar from Costco, because I was walking through Costco and saw just a random gift set of like a starter guitar. I was like, I wouldn't be using it as a gift, but if one was ever going to learn guitar, picking it all up for like relatively cheap. I don't know how expensive they are, but just like the whole kit, all in one. I do like me an all-in-one solution. Problem is I don't even play the instrument I have now, so I felt a little bit guilty. Didn't end up buying it. Could still consider going to a used guitar center and picking up something on the cheap. Be like, hey, I have no experience, I'm just starting out. Give me your best deal for a beginner. Problem with painting this model, I mean, it's good that I'm getting the second one out of the way, the other one in the series, but my coworker who likes to look at my stuff isn't going to want to look at this one because it's just the same as the other one in a different pose. It's only slightly different. There's no wow factor, no pizzazz. It's less interesting. It's been done. It needed to get done, but it's been done before. I don't even remember what I was doing on the T-Rex that I was painting as the last thing that I was painting before I stopped for a while. So I would feel pretty uncomfortable just picking that up and be like, oh yes, let me continue this. I don't know what I was doing. I don't remember. When I got back from my vacation, I decided to install a food tracking app just to keep track of my calories. And I realized if you're awake past midnight on most days, it makes it difficult to keep track of what day your calories fall on. Because the trackers are only designed to work for, regular human times. Like a breakfast, lunch, and dinner. What do I do if I end up eating dinner most days at 6 a.m. or something? Is that breakfast for the day before? And then I go to bed and I wake up and the first meal that I eat is lunch? Or do I mark it as breakfast, but it's like the first meal? Just ignore what day it happens on? It's like, oh yes, the first meal of the day, that is my breakfast, but then my waking day lasts until the next day, so it's weird. and I run out of calories, it's like, ah, yes, you've run calorie negative for the day. It's like, I'm still gonna be up for another 8 hours. I still have a whole nother meal and any number of snacks for the rest of the day. Things you clearly don't think about until they're suddenly affecting your life. Degenerate gamer hours, yay! Almost done with one side. Oh, we have 15 minutes? I don't know about that, boys. I don't know if that one's gonna work out. We still got a whole other side, top and bottom. I watched a collaboration today. Was envious. Man, I don't have friends in the creator sphere yet. I don't even know how you're supposed to make friends like this. I guess technically I have one, but they did their own streaming on the side, independently of everything. I guess I could ask for a collaboration? I could check. They're on Twitch, so I could check how many, do they use subscribers or whatever they use to count their people. I'll also consider doing dual streaming, but it is hard to set up on OBS. That is the end of that conversation. I tried it. If you set it up but you're not doing it, it messes with things, and I can't get notifications to affect both. So if the stream actually does go somewhere, I don't know if I would get any alerts that anything's happening. I don't want to like ignore my first super chat or first Twitch donation because the alert didn't pop up. Ooh, maybe I can make a throne account. Not tonight, obviously. But at some point, maybe I'll do that and just have a random thing for when I strike it big. I need to find out the etymology of why they chose throne for the name of a gifting site. Like, is the person on the throne and they're like royalty, or is it like a biblical reference to the throne of God? I don't think I've visited their homepage, so I don't know. I don't know if there's an About Us section that would tell me. Oh, I completely forgot. I've got Lego sets for another Handcam stream idea if I wanted to assemble Legos. That could be fun. I definitely did not get enough Legos as a child. And by that, I mean I had Legos, a certain amount, but I was the kind of kid that once I built something with it, I didn't want to take them apart. And I didn't want to reuse Legos from kits and anything else. So they were essentially build your own statue that you keep forever, which is great. I love it. But it means that once I've assembled the Lego, that's the end of the toy. And Legos are kind of expensive just to be throwing money at them just for that, you know? Not a cheap hobby. Man, what if I had gone to schooling for mathematics or engineering or something and got to be a Lego master builder, and that was my profession? That sounds fun. Or something to do with water, the way that fluids move. Giggity. But seriously, like just the way that fluid dynamics works is fascinating. Erosion in that biz. Clearly it was not explained to me well enough as a child because I didn't get into it, but just watching it happen tickles something inside of me. I pay attention to the way that things erode, the way that clumps will fall down, and like I could stare at water running across the pavement for a while if it's doing something other than just running clear. It's funny, because I'm not used to talking for 2 hours straight, especially just to myself. My throat usually hurts at the end of streams. So it's definitely a muscle that I have not used enough, and is definitely the entire point of doing this is to flex that muscle. Just one little more section. All right. I'm sure there are endless little tiny things that I could touch up until the end of time. I just need the tongue. I definitely remember getting the tongue on the other one. I just stuck the tail in the red. There. Red tongue. Oh, the other part in the shoulder. How did I miss? Oh, apparently I did one side, but not the other. That's why I'm always sitting here just rotating it in my hands constantly. Trying to see what parts I missed. Or what parts I hit with the wrong color. Okay, cool. Yep, definitely messed up a little bit at the end. Did not stick the landing. You could almost do some wet blending stuff with this, since this is a little moist longer. You could fade. No, it's fine. I don't want to spend too much more time. But what we can do is try something in the last couple minutes with this here skeleton bone wash. I haven't used this one. I should probably shake it for like a minute plus, but it is new. Let's see how you act. What did I do with my brush? Here we go. How do you act on something small like this foot? How's that look? So compare. What is better? This back foot? Focus. The back foot or the front foot? Like... I have to look at it when it's dry. Yeah. Get some of that off. I don't want it to be too obvious because I'm not going to be hitting the entire thing right now. It's fine. All right. There we go. Another dragon. Dragon number 2. Dragon number 1. Dragon number 2. They look fine. Okay. Well, this has been another excellent day. Autofocus, you fool. Another day in the Handcams. So, let's see. Tomorrow, normal time, we got that old Moves of Madness, I think. I'm not sure if that's going to be 2 more streams or 1 more stream. If there's 3 acts in it, then probably 2 more streams. If there's just 1 more act, then maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Until then, I will say goodbye, and hopefully the analytics don't look too terrible on this. Have a good night.